It's as good as we've seen. We've said that about him a couple times, but yeah, that was one of those things we talk about. You go out there with a healthy Jaime, and you just never know what you could end up watching. You know, he's got no-hit stuff right there, and he's got complete game shutout stuff too. And you know, just watching very good hitters take the kind of at-bats they take against him, you can just see. You know, when we talk about something looking different, it's unlike a lot of pitching they're going to see all season long. So it makes him special. It's it's location. We talk about the movement, but there's deception there too. And I think it's mostly deception and movement, and when he can locate, and then being able to flip a curveball in there. And he's got a good hard slider, and he even used some changeups today. So I think mixing it up, but it all comes down to movement, location, deception, and he had all the work in today.
With that kind of movement he has, how difficult is it to put that quick where he wants to sometimes? Because that would seem to be a bit of a difficult short of 90.
Yeah, he was. He had the good feel for the ball today, and it does become difficult. You head to a different town, you have different humidity. I mean, when a pitch moves that much, it's amazing how little things do affect it. If he's sweating too much, you see him use the ground a lot. There's just a lot of different variables that go into play, and when it all clicks, it's going to be a long day for the offense on the other side.
How amazing is it that he can be pitching like this after all the various big-time surgeries?
Yeah, he's had some setbacks and issues and things that have gotten in the way of him being out there. But we just kind of keep saying, do what we can, and he's a workhorse too as far as. When something happens, he figures out a way to work himself into being into the conversation again, and then working hard in between. He's just had some injuries that haven't cooperated, but I think there's a lot to be said about him mentally pushing through as well as physically trying to get his body right. And he's been great when it's been able to work out, but I know it's frustrating for him because he'd like to see that go out there for 30 starts a year. I would. Yeah, you better believe it.
You mentioned complete game shutout stuff. I know you really wanted him to be able to have the opportunity to finish that out tonight.
Yeah, it did. And, it gets down to the point where we got to win a game. And you do want to leave your closer a little bit of room. And, we got the first strikeout. I was hopeful that he'd be able to figure out how to keep it moving. But, the hit batsman and the walk put us in a bind. But he was still low. Still in the mid-90s with his pitches after all that. It's a great day.
When did you have the conversation with Carpenter about running for hits?
Yeah, so how sometimes we tell them to do it, sometimes they do it on their own garbage. That's out the window. That was all him, and that was something he saw. We obviously had a hit the other day, and I think he felt good about taking advantage of a slight shift on the defense, and heads up play by Mark Reynolds and Jose Oquendo being ready for it down at third, but that was all Carp. That was his doing, his instincts. Terrific play when we're having trouble getting our offense going at all, just doing the little things. And then building on that, Steven getting Mark over, or Steven getting them over, and then Mark driving the ball in. That's just just good fundamental baseball, doing the little things right in those close games when we're having trouble really stacking hits on top of each other.
How many hits did the Marlins take away tonight defensively?
Yeah, they made some good defensive plays. It's a good athletic team. I mean, you look at how the outfield moves, and guys on the infield covering a lot of ground too. They did take away a few.
Mike, from Carpenter's perspective too, there aren't a lot of guys who have 18 home runs, but can also for him to drive home a run. Is that just kind of the diversity he brings to you?
Yeah, it was said well, and I think it might have been John Lackey as Carpenter came back in. He said, it's just a great baseball play, and that's Carp's a ball player, and he's always looking for something, something to add to his bag of tricks. It's been nice to add home runs into that bag this year, and we've reaped the benefits of that and driving the ball, and then to just look and see what they're going to give you, and it's a smart play. And once again, you had to have everybody else on board, and they were ready, and that just shows how they're being intentional about looking for a crack.